I'm here live from the NYSE with Jim Cramer. Jim, we saw gold surge to a 6-year high and oil's been surging, and the markets are really volatile right now.
Well, I think that the dollar's going lower because the Fed is probably going to cut, and that does send gold higher. It also sends oil higher. We've got the Straits of Hormuz problem too with Iran and the Iranian tension. But I don't think it's going to go much higher, if only just because the U.S. oil companies all need cash flow, and what they do is they sell the futures when it gets to 60, and then that kind of caps it. Sometimes it can go a little bit through there, but that's one of the reasons why oil doesn't ever rally like it used to. The U.S. companies lay off a lot of oil through the futures markets.
Is the volatility that we're seeing in the markets a sign that there's more downside in the markets ahead?
Well, look, I mean, I've gotten a little more cautious just because I see a lot of greed, I see a lot of euphoria, and it worries me, if only just because we've had so many IPOs, and they're now, $20 billion for Slack. I like Slack, but you're going to have to start selling. If you're a mutual fund, you're selling stocks to buy stocks, and that's historically been a not great time.
Speaking of Slack, what would it take to get you into Slack?
Well, for the trust, I think I have to have more of a price discovery. They did that reference way of doing it. It was direct listing. I want to be sure that there aren't a lot of the VCs and others say, oh good, I didn't know it was up this high, I want to sell. We used under 40 because that's where it's still not crazy versus a lot of these companies that have come public. And I've got to tell you, the valuations, like I had MongoDB on last night. What an amazing stock that is. And it's been incredible. It's got just amazing growth. And it's cheaper than a lot of these companies just came public.
You wrote about Slack in your Real Money column this morning, and I want to read a quote for those of you who haven't read it yet. And you said that Slack is an orphan among stock picking portfolios, and you can only have so many of those. So what's the biggest risk that Slack faces?
Well, that's, these are, you have a $20 billion company that a lot of these managers want to have a piece of that is not in the S&P, and that does make it an orphan. It doesn't really have, you have a big cap company like that, and suddenly it's big cap, and it's not in the index. There's no natural buyer when the market goes up. A lot of stocks that we see go up because, you see big caps like a McDonald's, like a 3M, like a Procter. When the futures have those rallies, they're all in, and this company's not going to have that. And just be aware that the bias for the market has been up, but if you're not in the index, you are an orphan.
And of course, if you haven't already read it yet, you can head over to realmoney.com to read the column. Okay, so let's switch gears. Let's talk about Canopy Growth, which is our real money stock of the day.
Right.
Now, they posted earnings last night, but there was one thing that caught my eye, and I'm sure that you saw this too, that they said that the recreational usage has gone down.
Yeah, see, that was really bad.
So,
they need net medicinal to fill in for recreational, and that was look, that stock. Cannabis is going to end up displacing maybe $250 billion worth of product over the course of the next decade, okay? But remember, it's legal in Canada. I'm surprised it didn't do that well in Canada this quarter. And it is not in this country. They're doing what you can do under the hemp change. But they're spending they're spending like mad because they want to be the only guy. And they feel like they can do that. Maybe Kronos has a lot of money too from Altria, but they just want to make a moat. They want to make it so nobody else goes into this business because you're going to lose too much money. And I think it's an effective strategy, but not for shareholders right now. And I still like it because they ultimately will be the winner.
But with recreational sales down, is that a momentary buzzkill or just a sign that the recreational can't burn higher?
Been puzzling about it for all morning. No, I've been puzzling. Look, this is it's a really hard market to figure. We just don't understand it. We don't understand the Canadian consumption. We don't understand how much was illegally being sold that is now public. I don't know how much is the brown bag nature of it. They're not allowed to really advertise. We don't know how much of it is like the Oregon fatigue that we got when we started flooding it. We don't know in our country, for instance, it's a cash business. There's just so many questions, and that's why the stock is really down.
All right, and as I said, it is our Real Money stock of the day, which means that you can head over to realmoney.com to read more about the recreational usage and everything that you need to know about cannabis stocks, because I know that they're confusing. All right, Jim, so that's all the time that we have for today. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
And for all of you watching on TheStreet.com or on Facebook, we are now jumping over to our Action Alerts Plus members-only club video on actionalertsplus.com. I'm Catherine Ross, and we'll see you on Monday.